of the 2001 American League Championship Series on Fox, the Seattle Mariners and the New York Yankees. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck along with Tim McCarver. Well, the Seattle Mariners got exactly what they needed yesterday, a victory, but they got it exactly how they needed it, with some of their offensive studs finally breaking out of slumps. Meanwhile, it's Roger Clemens on the mound tonight for the New York Yankees, a guy that they really relied on to get them to the postseason. He's the one starter that doesn't have a win so far in this postseason.
Has not won a game in more than a month, and Joe Torre doesn't know which Roger Clemens is showing up tonight. He doesn't know if that hamstring is going to give him a problem. If it does, Roger will have a tendency to pitch more with his shoulders level to the ground, as opposed to the way he normally does, driving off that back leg and keeping the ball down.
Guess who won 17 games for the Seattle Mariners?
I know.
Paul Abbott. That's the answer to that question. I at least wouldn't guess that a lot of people would know the answer to that question. Talk about it's been a long time. It's been 19 days since he made his last start.
And he did have an appearance against the Cleveland Indians. That was the game in which the Indians beat Seattle, game 3 of the LDS, 17-2. Lou Piniella thought Paul in that game was tipping off his pitches. They hope to have that settled by game time tonight. The one thing, however, if neither starter is effective this evening and they both have to leave around the 4th inning, I think Seattle has a slight edge because they have a deeper and more balanced bullpen.
Yeah, if the Seattle Mariners are going to win this game, they're going to get their runs against Clemens and the middle relief.
Right.
Most likely not Rivera, and the middle relief showed yesterday how thin it can be for the New York Yankees. That's Tim, I'm Joe. The game in just a moment. Right now down to the field and Bob Shepard.
Please rise. And let us now take a moment in silence to remember the tragic events of September 11th, 2001, and the brave men and women who are now overseas fighting to defend our freedom and our way of life. Now please direct your attention to the microphone behind home plate and welcome the Boys Choir of Harlem, who will now sing our national anthem.
I've never wanted to do anything but fly planes ever since I was a little boy.
I actually still stand out and watch them take off.
I said I wanted to be a pilot when I was about 4 years old.
I have a son who is a first officer for United. I have a stepdaughter who is a flight attendant. My wife is also a flight attendant.
I still get the same rush. You know, there's nothing like it. It's the best job in the world.
I've worked for United for the last 14 years.
Baseball here since 1923, which is coincidentally the year of the Yankees' first World Championship. The Seattle Mariners were down 2-1 to the Cleveland Indians, won 2 in a row, and that's why they are in the American League Championship Series. They're now down 2-1 to the New York Yankees, trying to win here either tonight or tomorrow night to get this series back to Seattle. Tonight it's Paul Abbott. Tomorrow it's a matchup of Aaron Seeley, who was 0-5 in his career in the postseason, 0-2 this year, against Andy Pettitte, one of the better postseason performers active in the game right now. And the Seattle Mariners, even though they won yesterday, they're down 2-1. They won tonight's game, and then they'll take their chances with Seeley tomorrow night. It's Paul Abbott pitching tonight for Seattle with a chore of trying to help the Mariners get that victory to even the series at 2 games apiece. Here are his thoughts on pitching here at Yankee Stadium.
I've never seen anything like it last week. You talk about high energy, high intensity. It doesn't get past Yankee Stadium. Starts and ends right there, because of the history and everything's gone in there. Not to say other places aren't as loud and raucous, but it's just everything, the stigma that goes into it. It's fun. It's a blast, and I can't wait to get that feel again. And
Paul Abbott was the beneficiary of the best run support in the American League, which is one of the big reasons why his record went to 17-4 during the regular season. Tim, you're talking about a former 3rd-round pick back in 1985 of Minnesota. Was 3-6 over parts of 3 seasons with the Twins. Signed by Cleveland as a minor league free agent. 4.5 years in the minor league. Signed by Seattle as a minor league free agent. That was in January of '97, and here he is 17-4 and starting for the Mariners, who trailed 2-1, matched up against a 5-time Cy Young Award winner in Roger Clemens here in New York.
It may be 6-time Cy Young Award winner after the voting this year. Roger Clemens is matched up with Paul Abbott once in the postseason. That was Game 4 of last year's ALCS. Clemens, one of the most dominating performances of his career. He struck out 15, giving up only 1 hit. That's a league championship series low. Last year, Game 4 against Abbott. Remember the knockdowns of Rodriguez? And the dominance of Roger Clemens.
It was the only game that Clemens pitched that series, and that's the only hit, which tipped off the glove of Tino Martinez and went down into the right field corner. That was all. And the Yankees ended up winning in 6 games, due in large part to the home run that David Justice hit against Arthur Rhodes. And as is tradition now for Roger Clemens, he rubs the babe's forehead. The Ruth Monument out in Monument Park, and headed in. We noticed that Clemens was a little late in getting out to the bullpen to warm up. We're starting this game, supposed to start it right at 8. Typically we get underway well after 8 o'clock here in the East, and Clemens a little late getting down there to warm up, and therefore the Yankees a little late in entering the field to wait for pitch 1 of Game 4 of this LCS. We'll give you the starting lineup for the Seattle Mariners, brought to you by Kia. And if you watched yesterday's game, you'll notice the lineups are identical for each side, same as we had here yesterday. Ichiro, Mark McLemore, Brett Boone, who had a big day yesterday. Edgar Martinez has yet to break out of his slump here in the LCS. Then Olrud, Javier, Mike Cameron in center, Tom Lampkin is the catcher again, and David Bell is at third base batting 9th. And we look at the right-hander, Roger Clemens. As Tim mentioned, he has not won in over a month.
Last win was September 19th. And it's odd because here is Roger Clemens, the first pitcher to go 20-1 in a season. He ended the season with a 20-3 record. And everything depends on whether Roger Clemens can push off that back leg. Is the hamstring okay? Mr. Splitty, that's what he is going to call on tonight. Roger, very humorous during the press conference yesterday. highly unlike the very intense Roger Clemens. And that success equals fewer breaking balls. He has gotten away from that slider and been a much more effective pitcher this year.
So even though that said Mr. Splitter, he called it Mr. Split-E.
Mr. Split-E, right. S-P-L-I-T-T-E-E. So Mr. Split-E has to be working for Roger tonight.
So Roger with a different side of his personality during the press conference yesterday, and backing up Clemens defensively is this group. Knobloch, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill in the outfield, with Brocious, Jeter, Soriano, and Tino Martinez on the infield. Jorge Posada catching Roger Clemens, who was making his 19th postseason start. However, during the previous 18, he has compiled a record of 5-6, 0-1 this year, and he has yet to go a full 5 innings in either one of his 2 postseason starts. So if the middle relief is tested for the Yankees again here tonight, as it was yesterday, that'll be a good sign for Seattle. They will do their damage against Clemens or the middle relievers, trying to get it done before Mariano Rivera steps on the mound. This broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television.
Roger Clemens needs the appropriate tilt to keep the ball down. That means that front shoulder right there has to be lower than the back shoulder. And that will, because of the hamstring problem, Roger's not been able to push off of that leg, and he must do that in order to keep the ball down. So we should know early whether Clemens' hamstring is okay or not.
Ichiro will lead it off. He has hit in all 8 games this postseason and has a .500 average. So he tries to jumpstart this Seattle offense, which yesterday was jump-started by Brett Boone with a 2-out, 2-run single in the 5th inning, and that was followed by an enormous 6th inning, 7 runs on 5 hits. Underway in game 4, and 1 pitch, strike 1. Foul ball off to the right side. Ichiro, then McLemore, then Brett Boone. If anybody gets on, Edgar Martinez, the DH, who so far is only 3 out of 13 with no RBIs in this series. Here's an 0-1. 0-2. Ball 1. Ichiro led the American League with a .350 average during the regular season. Set up at 1-2, and he fought it off.
That is one of the maddening things that Ichiro does to pitchers. You make the pitch on him, and he somehow fouls it off.
7-time batting champion in Japan, and in his first year with Seattle, he wins the AL crown. Here's a 1-2. Still 1-2. Talked yesterday, and any broadcaster who's put on a headset talking about Ichiro talks about that approach at the plate, almost getting a head start down the first base line as he swings. That's to third and foul, so we've seen one foul after another go to the left side as Ichiro is just content to get a piece of it, to stay up there and wait for a mistake.
He pokes them foul until he gets a pitch to hit.
Ichiro went. 1 away.
Jorge Posada, because the ball is in the dirt, checked with third base umpire Ed Montague before he tagged Ichiro. You want to tag the batter and then check with the umpire. Suzuki going too far. See, Posada checking with third base umpire Ed Montague, then he came back to tag Ichiro.
That is the 47th strikeout in ALCS play for Roger Clemens, which is the most all-time. He had been tied with Jim Palmer for that record. And he starts McLemore with a strike poured over the outside corner. Mark McLemore yesterday. Well, you could talk about the Boone Rude home run. The Boone 2-out 2-run single had a 3-run triple and a run scored in that 7-run 6th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Clemens, who has yet to post a victory in this postseason after winning 20 during the regular season against only 3 losses, took care of the leadoff hitter. And now falls behind McLemore 2-1.
That's the area that Roger Clemens will be if the hamstring is sore. But after that at bat by Ichiro and the first pitch to McLemore, that's the area caused from not getting the front shoulder down.
Jeter. 2 out.
Clearly, so far, Clemens is fine, and Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre have to be very, very happy about that.
They look thrilled. Joe sipping on coffee, and Mel is sitting on his hands. Brett Boone now, the number 3 hitter, gets booed as he steps into the batter's box. How good did yesterday's 2-run single field of Brett Boone? Followed that up with that. His next at bat, a 2-run home run to straightaway center field. Next time up, an RBI single. Had 5 RBIs in his final 3 at bats yesterday. Clemens throwing hard in the count 0-2.
Blowing 2 fastballs by Brett Boone.
97 miles per hour on that last pitch. Pretty good start. It's Abbott, the Seattle Mariners starter for tonight's Game 4, and it's the starting lineup for the New York Yankees, brought to you by Kia. The Yankees lead it off with Knobloch, then Derek Jeter batting second at short. David Justice hitting third, the DH. Bernie Williams cleans up. Tino Martinez at first. Jorge Posada, Paul O'Neill, Scott Brocious, Alfonso Soriano rounds out the lineup. He's at second base batting ninth. And here's Paul Abbott, a 17-game winner with a 4.25 ERA.
Remarkable record considering the fact that Paul's first start was not until April 28th of this year, so he missed the first month of the season. The most run support of any pitcher in the American League. Number 2 in that category, Roger Clemens.
Knobloch will start it against this right-hander who 11 times in his professional career has been on the disabled list. Either shoulder or elbow trouble. Has not made a start in 19 days. Was knocked around in Game 3 of the division series. And Knobloch up there hacking at the first pitch, strike 1.
Lou Piniella says his changeup is a power change. The run support the key. First pitch fastball a problem. That was the first pitch fastball to Chuck Knobloch. He has given up 4 first pitch home runs this year, 2 in the postseason.
Abbott kind of a dart thrower as he comes up to the top and short arms it to the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike with Jeter on deck.
We ask Lou Piniella what a power change exactly is. He said he can strike left-handed hitters out with that pitch. 2 strike changeups.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We talked to Lou Piniella prior to the game, who enjoyed yesterday's victory, no doubt. And we talked to him about that guarantee that he made after Game 2, losing Game 2 in Seattle. He said, "I believe in my team." I'll never say something like that again, but I believe in my team. Got Knobloch over the inside corner, 1 away. Piniella seemed shocked that the guarantee picked up so much attention as you see that pitch. I'm sure Knobloch thought it was high. The home plate umpire, Charlie Rutherford, said strike 3. And that's surprising for a guy in Lou Piniella who managed here for 3 seasons and played with the Yankees for 11. He said, you know, it's almost like if any of the New York guys say it, it's, hey, all right, yay for us. If somebody else says it, it's, whoa, wait a minute now, what? Here's Jeter with 1 out, nobody on. Jim Fossil, that was fine. Lou Piniella, how dare he? Strike 1 on Jeter, who is only 2 out of 10 in this LCS.
One thing I have noticed about Lou Piniella, as you look at Jamie Moyer's last night winner, but Lou appears to be much more relaxed than I've ever seen him in postseason. Experience will do that for you.
5th postseason appearance for Lou Piniella. I mentioned yesterday, and others have, that he has that World Championship with Cincinnati back in 1990. A 4-game sweep of the heavily favored Oakland A's. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Abbott to Jeter. Derek Jeter is all of 27 years old. It's hard to remember that for a guy whose first full year was his Rookie of the Year season in 1996 at the start of this great Yankee run. Mom and Dad watching from the seats as Jeter golfs one into left field for Javier. Good pitch from Abbott, 2 out.
Derek Jeter has been seeing a steady diet of fastballs inside. He saw it from Oakland, and he is seeing it from Seattle. 2 for 11 in the series. Mom and Dad, maybe.
They've seen their son Derek come up with 89 postseason hits, which is an all-time record. They have also seen him reach base in 63 of 69 career postseason games. But he's only the 2nd out here in the 1st inning as David Justice takes a strike, and so far the early results on Paul Abbott have been very good.
Remember, the power change to left-handed batters. That is his strikeout pitch.
One ball, 1 strike.
He has not thrown that pitch yet, but when and if he does, it will be to a left-hander. He stays away from that pitch to right-handed batters.
Knobloch struck out. Jeter flied out. And Justice able to check his swing. The count 2-1.
That was a changeup right there, and you folks at home can tell with Paul Abbott, when the ball goes down, generally speaking, that is your changeup. When the ball stays on the level plane up around the hands of the letters, usually it's the fastball.
Base is empty with 2 down, and Justice rolls one over to first. Another changeup, and it's a put out 3-1. After the Mariners went in order, the Yankees do the same. We go to the 2nd. Roger Clemens back to the hill. No score in game 4. 2nd inning, no score. Paul McCartney is back. He was here for game 2 of the division series. Yankees lost that game. It was before they headed out to Oakland to win 2 out there, 1 back here. Game started by Roger Clemens. Clemens could not go 5 in that game, a 5-3 Yankee win. The Yankees won the first 2 games in Seattle before losing here yesterday afternoon and evening. 14-3 to the Mariners. 1 ball, 1 strike on Edgar Martinez with Olerud on deck. Edgar Martinez 3 out of 13 with 0 runs batted in so far in this ALCS. 1-2.
Wicked splitter right there from Clemens. Usually it starts at the knees, ends up on the ground, as that one did.
Looking for strikeout number 3. 2-2.
Usually sinker ball pitchers are not guys who throw splitters. But the compliment, the best compliment of the splitter is for a pitcher who throws high fastballs. It gives the hitter a different look, the high fastball and the low splitter.
2-2 to Martinez, who's fouled back into the upper deck.
Roger Clemens, a mountain of a man, 240 pounds, 6'5". It wasn't always like that. He was at the University of Texas. Roger only weighed 195 pounds, but he has filled out rather nicely.
Two-time All-American at Texas, and it's about twice the size he was back then. That's too far outside. Clemens thought he had his third strikeout. The count's full now on Martinez.
Edgar Martinez, pitchers will tell you, one of the toughest outs in the American League. That ball was outside.
So it was 1-2. Now it's 3-2. That slicing foul and out of play into the upper deck. Edgar Martinez almost single-handedly beat the Yankees in that 1995 divisional series. In his postseason career against the Yankees, that's even factoring in his start here in this year's ALCS, which is 3 out of 13. He hit .571 that year, with a big home run, and knocked in the winning runs in extra innings at Game 5. Another 3-2. Martinez walks. You say it, Tim. We show it, Tim.
Right.
Roger Clemens back in Texas, 1983. He was there in 82 and 83. His record a combined 25-7. The winning pitcher, the 1983 College World Series championship game, as the Longhorns defeated Alabama.
Roger went to the University of Texas after 1 year at a junior college, San Jacinto, same junior college. Andy Pettit went.
Olerud takes ball one. In games that Roger Clemens started this season, during the regular year, 27-5, 28-6 overall if you count the postseason. Only 68-60 with others starting games. That's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Olerud with a game tied 2-2. Stepped to the plate and did this. That started a 7-run 6th inning. It was the beginning of the end for Orlando Hernandez. Here's a 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Javier waiting on deck. Olerud, 33-year-old first baseman. Won World Series back with Toronto in 92 and 93. Roger Clemens won Cy Youngs with Toronto in 97 and 98. High again, the count 3-1.
The at-bat by Edgar Martinez has pushed Clemens out of the strike zone. Clemens made some very good pitches with his fastball against Martinez. Edgar kept fouling them off, fouling them off. He drew the walk, and now Clemens can't find the strike zone.
And for the first time, Clemens is having to work out of the stretch, which, with a bad right hamstring, might put a little extra pressure on that leg, trying to generate drive without the benefit of a windup.
That's a very good point and accurate.
Thanks,
the right
man.
leg. Well, the right leg, that's it. It is, because that right leg, it requires a little bit more from the stretch.
On 3-1, Olerud slowly to Soriano. They get the lead runner. Good play. So the force out 4-6 as Soriano made the play to his left. Right now, here's Jeannie Zelasco at our Fox Network Center in L.A.
Joe in Atlanta all rested up and ready to go. Randy Johnson so far appears to have picked up where he left off. Just ask Chipper Jones. Big Unit's first strikeout victim of the day. No score, bottom 2.
Joe, you rarely see that with Soriano moving to his left. He was going to go to first base, and Tino Martinez pointed to second base, telling Soriano Edgar Martinez is not a fast runner, but he had to wait up for the ground ball too. That combination made him an easy out at second base.
So it's a runner at first, now 1 out for Stan Javier. Stan yesterday 2 hits, but the play that everybody's talking about is the home run he took away, and here's Soriano to his left, changing his mind with the help of his first baseman Tino Martinez to turn and get the lead runner.
Had an idea about first, but Martinez had to hold up because of the ground ball, and Tino actually pointed to second base, and Soriano did as he was told.
Here's an 0-1 on the outside corner, 0-2. With every 2-strike count, most in this crowd at Yankee Stadium get up. And they want to see the man who is number 3 on the all-time strikeout list ring up another. There's another. His 3rd of the night.
Catch me if you can, says Clemens. The letter high fastball gets Javier. 3 strikeouts now for Roger Clemens.
And we are just into this game, but it is easy to see that here in the opening innings, he is throwing the ball much better than his 2 starts in the divisional series.
He's throwing the ball as well as he had in a month and a half. Last time he went 7 innings was back on September the 5th. Here it is right here. You can see that powerful leg drive. Roger Clemens. A lot of lower body in those fastballs.
39 years old. Won Cy Youngs in '86, '87, '91 with Boston, then '97, '98 in his 2 years with Toronto. Remember the deal that brought him here to the Bronx. February 8th, 1999. David Wells, Graham Lloyd, and Homer Bush going the other way. The Yankees, it took over a year for them to see the Roger Clemens they thought they were getting when they made that deal. But if you go back to early July 2nd of last year, he's 29-5 since coming off the disabled list with groin trouble. Been bothered by sore hamstrings. It's been leg difficulty he's battled through as opposed to arm trouble. And he has Cameron set up at a ball and 2 strikes here.
American League pitchers try to pitch Mike Cameron up right here. That's where the first strike was called, and the Yankees feel if they could throw him around the letters, they'll have good success with it.
Clemens hitting that spot. Cameron able to lay off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Up again, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and now the runner Olrud will go at first.
There are ways to combat that, says Mike Cameron. If he's going to throw it up there, I just won't swing at it. Now he's got a full count with which to work.
(3-2) heat or 3-2 forkball. Just low for the second walk of the inning. So Clemens finally got the ball down, and it was too far down. 2 walks. It's 2 on with 2 out, and Lampkin coming up.
Fine at bat by Mike Cameron. So Martinez and Cameron have both walked on 3-2 pitches. Olrud hit a 3-1 pitch, so a lot of pitches thrown by Clemens in this game, but 5 times this year he has thrown over 120 pitches in a game. The pitch count for Clemens is not nearly as important as it is with most pitchers.
Orlando Hernandez was up over 120 as he was pitching in the 6th inning here yesterday, and he was out of the game shortly thereafter. Yesterday, 7 out of 19 were the Seattle Mariners with runners in scoring position. They were awful prior to yesterday. 0 for 10 in this series. 6 out of 42 overall. But again yesterday, 7 out of 19 as they piled up 14 runs on 15 hits. 24th pitch of this inning coming here from Clemens to Lampkin. Pretty good swing, but the count 0-2. A fork ball to get Lampkin. 4 strikeouts for Clemens. Bottom of the second at Yankee Stadium, no score. There aren't many people that can show up at Yankee Stadium, have his music played, get that kind of reaction from the crowd, salute the crowd after he helped put together that benefit last night at Madison Square Garden.
I can believe that he knows the words.
Yeah.
How about that?
He's playing the bass line to it right now.
Oh, that's great.
That's Sir Paul McCartney at a baseball game here at Yankee Stadium. Second time we've seen him in the postseason as Bernie Williams steps in. It'll be Williams, Tino Martinez, and Jorge Posada against Paul Abbott. Bottom of the second, no score. There have been no hits. The Mariners were given 2 walks. They stranded both runners, and the count goes to 2-0 on Williams. Williams in his first at bat yesterday went deep against Jamie Moyer, and after that Jamie Moyer was sensational. Yankees led 2-0 in the first inning. They were before yesterday 37-5 when scoring first during this run, and this is what got them going yesterday. The problem was for the Yankees, they stopped after that. We talked to Don Zimmer before this game. He said, boy, Zim, you hopped up off that bench, gave that motion with your arm. He said, yeah, I sat down pretty quick too after that, didn't I? 2 balls, 2 strikes on Williams.
Williams thought that pitch was high. If both pitchers get this high fastball tonight, they will be very effective. Neither pitcher is the type of pitcher who keeps the ball down to be effective. The letter high strike called by Charlie Relaford.
Both will be helped. Clemens, you would figure, would be helped more. If he's getting that high pitch and hitters are up there conscious of that and have to go after that high fastball, right, they're in trouble.
Yep.
3 balls, 2 strikes as Williams tries to become the first base runner for the Yankees. And time granted just before the pitch. Home plate umpire, by the way, is Charlie Relaford. And he has given 2 high strikes to Abbott so far in this game. That's too low, and that's ball 4, a leadoff walk.
Here in the second inning, both teams with leadoff walks. The difference is Edgar Martinez drew that walk for Seattle. He's a slow runner. Bernie Williams, a fast runner, drew the walk for the Yankees. So one would think that the chance of scoring better for the Yankees than the Mariners.
Abbott, a 17-game winner during the regular season, misses high to Tino Martinez, who came up in 1990 with Seattle. Last year there was 1995 when he hit 31 home runs and drove home 111. And he has been consistent since putting on that Yankee uniform for the first time in '96. Runner does go. Lampkin to throw. Got it. One away.
Because it was the hit and run, Bernie Williams did not have a good jump. This is a fine tag by Mark McLemore. Lampkin threw out 10 of 36. I don't think it was a hit and run. On a hit and run, you don't have a check swing, but look how quick the tag was, and it appeared that Bernie Williams was in there. Looked like the tag was high, but nonetheless, because of the quick tag, Seattle got the call. No, he had him. Good call.
So 1 out, bases empty, and Tino Martinez grounds to first. 2 out. Before the steal attempt, Lee Mazzilli, the first base coach for the Yankees, had this to say to Bernie Williams.
Hey, now 1-2 to 1-4, okay, but he's got a slide step. Pick him up. Give me a peek every now and then, okay? All right. Yeah.
1-2 to 1-4 means the time that Abbott throws the ball to the plate, the slide step, he doesn't have the high kick. And when Mazzilli said, give me a peek every now and then, if the runner at first doesn't get the sign from the third base coach, Willie Randolph, he looks over at Lee Mazzilli, and Lee will give him a wink or tell him something. Obviously not a verbal sign, because then the first baseman would find it out. But a lot of runners at first base get their signs. If they don't get it from the third base coach, they pick it up from the first base coach.
Ball 1 to Jorge Posada. Only 1 out of 9 in this series. 2-0. Posada with a home run, batting right-handed against Barry Zito in Game 3 of the division series, the only run of that game. Off the hands and foul, 2 balls and a strike. Mike Messina, Mariano Rivera took care of the work on the mound that night, and people are still talking about the heads-up play that Derek Jeter made on the shovel pass to Posada at the plate to get Jeremy Giambi to keep Oakland off the board. In fact, if you get here early enough, which we have the opportunity to do before all these games, you will see that highlight run no less than 37 times on the scoreboard here at Yankee Stadium.
New York Yankee fans are referring to it as the play, and everybody knows what it was.
3 balls and a strike on Posada with 2 out, nobody on. Full count. Here it is. Spencer missing the first 2 cutoff men, and Jeter with a flip to Posada. Now Posada draws a 2-out walk. Second walk of the inning, and the second inning still alive for New York.
I have never seen a shortstop make that play. Jeter's position is to be the cutoff man between the right fielder and the third baseman, so he came from behind the mound to make this play. Remarkable.
He read the poor throw from Spencer and got there.
That's right.
In time to catch it on the run and flip like an option play, like the Jets saw Oz Hakeem flip to trunk candidate at Giant Stadium today for the play at the plate. 1 on with 2 out, and O'Neill hops out of there. Roche is on deck. O'Neill 3 out of 8 in this series, hitting only .211 overall this postseason for the Yankees. Lampkin knocks it down, throws, and Posada is out to end the inning. So the Yankees get 2 walks, both runners erased on the bases. We go to the 3rd inning here in Game 4. Abbott and Clemens, no score. Work in the 3rd inning, 9-1-2 for Seattle. Bell, Ichiro, and Mark McLemore against Roger Clemens, who has yet to allow a hit. Walked 2 last inning, got away with it. Abbott walked 2 last inning and got away with it. Strike 1 on David Bell.
Joe, you notice the foul balls hit off Roger Clemens. Almost all of them are the other way. That's indicative of a guy who is powering his fastball through the zone.
That pitch disappeared in the count 0-2.
Tumbler. Very descriptive pitch. Pitch held between the index finger and the middle finger toward the end of the fingers.
The 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think that's the difference between a splitter and a fork ball. A fork ball is held back in the fingers and a splitter more toward the tips of the fingers. A splitter is usually thrown harder than a fork ball.
Fork ball grip, fork ball pitch, strikeout number 5. You can peek into that glove and see the fork ball grip of Roger Clemens, and then watch the action of that pitch down and in, 1 out.
There it is right there, and you can see down toward the end of the fingers, you see that little space between the ball and the crook of the fingers.
A medical term.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used that. I'm looking at my fingers trying to decide what do you call that. I guess it is the crook.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's that little piece of skin there.
Between the index finger and the middle finger.
Right.
Yeah.
5 strikeouts for Clemens, and Ichiro has to get out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ichiro dancing out of the way. How about Suzuki? He comes to the United States. He almost immediately has one name status.
That's true.
Yeah, almost immediately.
Uma, Oprah. Oprah, Uma.
Well, here's some more. We've gone back in history, and these are some other names known as one name. Houdini. That's it. Harry to his friends,
Harry.
however.
Madonna.
Madonna, yeah.
The entire cast of Animal House. Flounder. Bluto. Sinbad. Cher.
Utz.
Alfalfa. Santana. That's a strike in the count, 3-2.
Ichiro has only walked 20 times, not including the intentional walks, in 692 plate appearances this year.
Instead of strikeout number 6, it's walk number 3. Now, expect the Mariners to run. They will run on Roger Clemens, and if that's the case, then they will run the guy who led the league with 56 steals, and Ichiro, if he can find the right time to do it.
Lou Piniella telling us that before the game tonight, not against Pettit tomorrow night because of that pickoff move of his. But he loves the chances of the Mariners running against Clemens and Posada.
We asked him the question, can you run against Roger Clemens? And he paused for a minute, and then he just kind of looked up and said, we'll run. Another check on Ichiro, and obviously Clemens knows that the Mariners will test him. Clemens, by the way, against Seattle this season was 0-1 with a no decision. A total of 14 innings pitched, 11 runs on 11 hits. Three in a row, and that was close. Talked yesterday about how big a lead Ichiro is getting, and he was almost too far off the bag there.
Diving back to the outside part of the bag. That makes the tag from the first baseman that much longer.
Huge lead. Not running as McLemore takes a high strike.
You could see him break that left leg as if to go back to the bag, and that's what throwing over to first base does. It makes a base runner aware. Watch right there. The right leg going back toward first base. That's really all a pitcher needs.
You do not have to throw over to first if you step off first. In other words, if you turn, spin in one motion, you have to throw. If you step back off the rubber, you do not have to throw to first. Now McLemore steps out at the plate. Ichiro with a big lead at first, and he draws another throw.
Well, the one disadvantage that Ichiro has is his hands on his knees. The problem with that is before you run, you have to take your hands off your knees. So all good base runners will never take a lead with their hands on their knees.
Pitch out, ball one. Somewhere Lou Brock, your former teammate, is smiling.
He certainly is. So is Maury Wills and Ricky Henderson.
Used to those pictures of Henderson with his hands hanging down and his fingers twitching.
Ichiro is unique in that often the left hand is on the left knee. Like that.
Hasn't taken off yet. Now Clemens is behind on the count 2-1, and the chances of Ichiro running become greater.
Absolutely. The best running count other than a 3-2 count is 2 balls and a strike with less than 2 outs.
And nobody loves sending the runner on 3-1 like Tim McCarver.
Hate it.
Big lead, and Ichiro just able to get back in time.
Well, the reason that I don't think you should send runners 3-1 and 2-0, they're offensive counts for the hitters. You change that offensive count into a defensive count.
Where the hitter feels like he has to protect the run.
Sure, right. Right now, though, it's an excellent time to send it.
Another throw over. What's that, 6 throwovers? With 1 step off and look over?
Yep.
And there have been 3 pitches to the plate. And McLemore is up on the count, 2 balls and a strike. There he goes. Posada, no chance. And the stolen base for Ichiro is his 3rd of this postseason. It was only a matter of time, and the time was on the 2-1 pitch.
McLemore taking, and Posada, in fairness to Jorge, did not have a good pitch to handle. You can see Ichiro pivoting on that right foot. Another thing the good base runners don't do is pick up that right foot on stealing second base. Takes time.
The count's 3-1 on McLemore, who hits a chopper back to Clemens. 2 out. And Ichiro still at second with Brett Boone coming up.
Yankees feel right now that they've lost nothing because Ichiro's going to be on second base on a ball hit like that anyway.
Well, now they've got Boone at the plate. We talked about it yesterday after getting that flare to go in and out of the glove of Chuck Knobloch, the left fielder, yesterday for the 2-out 2-run single to tie the game. Then you wondered how he would build on that, and he did with a 2-run homer to center, an RBI single in his final at bat. Struck out his first time up today, and Clemens got him with fastballs up around the letters, and he goes back up there for ball 1.
Bam. Bam. Bam.
The damage was done yesterday on breaking pitches for the most part. Clemens can overpower Boone up the upper reaches of the strike zone and out of the strike zone. 2-0. The Yankees, I'm sure, wondering how long they're going to keep Edgar Martinez out of the RBI category, where he has zipped so far in this ALCS, and he may get a chance here in the third inning as the count goes to 3-0 on Brett Boone.
I think if you're Lou Piniella, you let Boone hit right here. If you're Boone, you make Clemens get the ball down in the strike zone.
Whoa. Up and in. Ichiro will go to third, and Boone will go down to first with his heart beating twice its normal rate, as that pitch came up and in awfully close around the chin of Brett Boone.
Ball off the heel of the glove of Posada. It has not been scored yet. Ichiro will go to third base. It's being scored a wild pitch, but could very easily have been scored a pass ball.
So it's also ball four to put runners on at the corners with 2 out. The wild pitch moved Ichiro from second to third, and now it's Edgar Martinez. 2 home runs in this postseason, 5 RBIs, but in this ALCS 3 out of 13 with no run production. The 38-year-old designated hitter trying to put Seattle on top here in game 4. Third inning, no score. Over but low for ball 1.
What we have not seen by the Mariners thus far, we have not seen a ball hit to the outfield. Either a strikeout, a walk, or a ground ball.
One and one. 39-year-old right-hander throwing to the 38-year-old DH. Ichiro and Brett Boone on the bases. Seattle trying to strike first here in game 4. Pop up. Foul territory. Posada. Edgar Martinez now 3 out of 14 with no RBIs in this ALCS. 2 more walks. 2 more stranded. Bottom of the third inning. No score. Paul Abbott so far is not allowed a hit. Did walk 2 last inning. Clemens has walked 4. No hits yet on either side. Clemens with his 5 strikeouts, but 61 pitches already. Again, as you said, Tim, pitch count is not a big deal with Roger Clemens, especially when he's healthy. But there is a limit.
Sure.
And you get into the middle innings where your pitch count is getting ridiculous, then that's where the Yankees will be tested with that middle relief, which is extremely thin. 2 balls, no strikes on Paul O'Neill.
If the Yankees have to go to a right-hander in the 5th or 6th inning, Joe Torre, Mel Stottlemyre will go to Ramiro Mendoza. The Stanton innings are 7 and 8. Or if you go to Rivera, you have the option of going 8 and 9. Rivera, one of the most dominating closers in the game.
3 balls, no strikes on O'Neill.
Joe Torre allows Paul O'Neill to hit 3-0. This one, however, up and in.
So now a 3-0 count on O'Neill with Brocious and Soriano to follow against Abbott. And a 4-pitch walk. 3 of the last 4 hitters faced for Abbott have been handed walks. Tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox, it's game 5 of the ALCS, where the Mariners send Aaron Seeley to the mound. The Yankees will have Andy Pettitte on the hill. Depending on what happens here in tonight's game, Yankees right now up 2-1. If the Yankees win, they will be trying to head to their 4th straight World Series. And while Seattle just trying to get this series back to Safeco Field. That'll be tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox. A leadoff walk, and now Brocious. Strike one.
Because the Yankees had 2 runners erased at second base, Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada in the second inning, they are less inclined to be running right now. You don't want the caught stealing or the assist by the catcher to continue.
A bunt. Abbott thought about throwing to second. They get the out at first, 1 away. The sacrifice is good. 1-3.
Yeah, because you are not going to run. Paul O'Neill, remember, had a broken foot, was out for a month. Then the alternative is to bunt. Brocious, one of the better bunters on the Yankees, and lays down a blueprint toward first base. So even though we're in the 3rd inning, Joe Torre, whenever you bunt and sacrifice, you have a tendency to play for 1 run. Abbott looks at second, had an idea, but he takes the sure out.
So now a runner at second, 1 out, and Soriano, a rookie in this group, who was 4 out of 11 in this series, hitting .276 during the postseason overall, could put the Yankees on top. Ball 1 low. Soriano, 18 home runs, 73 RBIs, predominantly out of the number 9 spot this season for Joe Torre. O'Neill at second with 1 out. 2-0.
Usually what determines whether you bunt in the early innings is how well your pitcher is throwing. If Roger Clemens was not throwing well, Joe Torre doesn't try to bunt there. But because Clemens has had dominating stuff so far, that's why he opted to bunt.
And it also helps having a number 9 hitter like Soriano that can drive in runs.
Got it.
Here's a 2-0. 3 balls, no strikes with Knobloch on deck here in the 3rd inning.
Soriano is not a hitter that Torre will give the 3-0 hit sign to.
One. Yankees looking for the first run. They're also looking for the first hit of the night. 3-2.
Little cut fastball right here. Might have been a slider. I think it was.
The Diamondbacks have taken the lead in the 4th inning at Atlanta. We will give you that highlight in just a moment. Right now, Soriano trying to provide a highlight. He draws a walk. 4th of the night handed out by Abbott. Knobloch will bat with 2 on and 1 out. Here's Jeannie Zelasco at our Fox Network Center in L.A.
Joe, Bob Brenly had a hunch about Danny Batista, and it paid off. Batista in today's lineup so he could do that. He singles in Mark Grace. Arizona takes the 1-0 lead. Top 4, 1 out, Joe.
Well, the defense has been so poor by the Braves in that series. They talked about it, Jeannie and Kevin, during the pregame show. That throw from Andrew Jones, who has one of the best arms in any outfield across baseball, was terrible. Poor. With Grace running. Now it's 2 on with 1 out, and here's Chuck Knobloch. Strike 1. Knobloch went after the first pitch his first time up, fouled it away, and eventually struck out Jeter next. Knobloch 44 RBIs during the regular season, so far 3 in the postseason. 2 on with 1 out. Abbott looks back at O'Neill.
What has bedeviled Chuck Knobloch all season long is not turning on the fastball. That's why he hit only 250. Really has that three-part swing. He lays the bat flat, has to get it up and get it back. There's a lot to do before he swings the bat.
That missed the inside corner, a ball and a strike. However, in this situation so far in the postseason for Knobloch, 3 out of 6 with runners in scoring position. He has 1 in scoring position with O'Neill at second and Soriano, the trail runner, at first. Popped up, right side. It's a foul ball. Infield fly rule was called by John Shulock, the first base umpire. 2 out. The Yankees will send Jeter to the plate.
You can see all the things that Knobloch has to do. Flat bat. Now he has to bring it up and trigger his swing, which means he can't get around on the high fastball. That's excellent scouting by the Seattle Mariners. It's not brain surgery, but Knobloch now more of a low ball hitter, because the low ball, you don't need as quick a hands to get around as you do that high fastball.
So here's Jeter, the all-time leader with 89 career postseason hits, but so far only 2 out of 11 in this ALCS. 2 on, 2 out. Strike 1. Two walks in the inning, 2 walks last inning. Clemens has done the same. 2 walks in the second, 2 walks in the third. One ball, 1 strike. The Yankee hitters have not looked too comfortable against Abbott yet. An awkward action by Jeter as that pitch got near the strike zone.
Jeter, a real inside out hitter. Even with the pitch inside, he drags the bat head through the strike zone. That's why he has that right center field stroke.
Play him straight away in the outfield with a count 1-1. To the left side, David Bell to end the inning. Big stretch by Olrud, and still no hits, still no runs. 4th inning, game 4. Nothing. Well, it'll be the number 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Seattle. Roger Clemens so far has struck out 5, walked 4. And that means John Olrud, the number 5 hitter, will lead it off. Olrud bounced into a force out his first time up. 2 out of 13 in this ALCS with a home run yesterday. Right back up the middle, and there's the first hit of the night. Olrud was waiting for that pitch, got it, and sent it right back through the box.
Olrud, when he's hitting well, hits the other way and through the box. We were watching between innings as you check it out with John Olrud and Paul O'Neill moving around gingerly, trying to stop on that sacrifice going into second base.
Now a bunt, pushed, foul.
And Paul O'Neill trying to put on the brakes at second base, even though the bone has fused back together. You could see him limping right there.
You know, even when he got his break going down to second, you could see how frustrated O'Neill is. So that foot is bothering him.
Yeah.
It looked like when he started down towards second base, he hurt that foot again. Javier showing bunt, takes a strike. It's 0-2. So we'll see how the Mariners want to play it with Javier. The count of 0-2. See if they abandon the bunt.
I think you absolutely do that.
They do, as he's ready to swing, and Posada blocks the ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It has been in vogue, normally traditionally in baseball, with pitchers, like in the National League, with 2 strikes. It's standard to bunt with 2 strikes. But over the last 5 years, there have been a lot of everyday players who have been asked to bunt with 2 strikes. But Javier is too good a hitter to take the bat out of his hand.
A ball and 2 strikes. For the second time tonight, Javier strikes out, and that's number 6 for Clemens. And the runner's still at first.
The splitter, Mr. Splitty, is working tonight for Clemens.
Mr. Splitty.
Mr. Splitty.
It's like Senior Wentz is talking to his hand.
It's all right.
You ready to throw the split finger today?
So Mr. Splitty rings up number 6. 1 on, 1 out. Ball 1 to Cameron. Here is
once again we misspelled Splitty. S-P-L-I-T-T-E-E. Mr. Splitty.
See, I'd go E-Y at the end. Few breaking balls, and we have seen very few, mainly fastball, split fingered pitch. The count goes to 2-0 on Cameron. All right.
There it is. We repaired Mr. Splitty.
Hamstring seems okay.
Yes, sir. Way he's throwing, nothing's bothering him tonight, or Paul Abbott for that matter.
2 balls and a strike on Cameron, who walked his first time up. Atlanta is on the board as they get a home run from Julio Franco, and we will show it to you as soon as we have a moment to do so. 2 balls and a strike on Cameron. Off the end of the bat, broke his bat, Knobloch the easy play. 2 out, back to first is Olrud, and right now here's Jeannie Zelasco at our Fox Network Center in Los Angeles.
Joe, Tom Glavine just got out of a bases-loaded jam, and how does Julio Franco reward him? Bottom 4 home run on the 1-1 pitch. Tie ball game, and that's where we sit. But 1 out, nobody on, Joe.
Right center. That is a spot that you would figure that Julio Franco would hit Randy Johnson. He's got that curl. We talked about that in Arizona the other night.
I tell you, in that game 1 that we had a chance to do, the best swings of the day were from Julio Franco against Randy Johnson.
Julio Franco and Chipper Jones chipped in with a couple of hits. Franco with a hit. Only 3 hits against the tall left-hander.
Lampkin grounds it foul outside first. That's strike 1. Lampkin at the plate. He had 2 on with 2 out back in the second and struck out. In this inning, Olrud led off with a hit. Javier trying to bunt initially, eventually struck out. Cameron flied to left, and already up to 71 pitches is Clemens as he works here in the 4th inning. Over but low, 1-1. Number 9 hitter David Bell waits to hit next. The Yankees in the bottom of this 4th will have Justice, Williams, and Tino Martinez. No score, 4th inning, game 4, with the Yankees up 2 games to 1. 2 balls and a strike on Lampkin. Lampkin in the lineup yesterday to get another left-handed bat in the lineup against Orlando Hernandez, and Lou Piniella sticking with that lineup after it produced 14 runs on 15 hits, 2-2 on Lampkin. full count, and Olerud will get a head start at first. Lampkin reaches out, floats one to center. Bernie Williams there to grab it. A leadoff hit, and the Mariners strand their 5th. Bottom of the 4th, no score. Heart of the order for the Yankees here in the 4th inning, no score. Justice, Williams, and Tina Martinez. The wind's been whipping around pretty good here since about 2 hours before the start of this game. Temperature has dropped a bit. Actually, the wind has died down a little in the last inning, but the temperature may drop here shortly, you tell me, meteorologist Tim, as we start the bottom of the 4th. And a strike on the outside corner.
There is a cold front that is supposed to be moving through the New York area, so it should be cooler for tomorrow night's game.
That'll be game 5 tomorrow night. Aaron Seeley and Andy Pettit. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, right here on Fox, as Justice is the count even on him. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out of 10 in this series against Seattle pitching. Bothered by groin trouble really all year. Lifts this one into left. Javier. Anything but routine, and the wind may have played a factor there as it moved it on Javier. 1 out.
That power changeup Lou Piniella was talking about, and this is what Joe was talking about, the wind pushing that ball toward left central.
So with 1 out, nobody on, Bernie Williams, who walked but then was out stealing back in the 2nd, then later with 2 out and Posada on at first. Ball squirted away from Lampkin on a pitch to O'Neill, and Posada was thrown out trying to go to 2nd. Javier is a little more sure-handed back around the wall, about 2 feet over the wall, taking a home run away from Soriano in the 3rd inning. Keeping it 2-0 at the time. Yankees on top. The Mariners tied it shortly thereafter and took the lead for good in the 6th inning. No balls, 2 strikes on Bernie Williams, and the Mariners have to be thrilled with how Paul Abbott has started this game. No runs, no hits, 4 walks, 1 strikeout. That's a foul ball.
Just foul by about 6 inches. And Paul Abbott has been very poised, and he has used his pitches and mixed them up very well. Just foul. Had it been a fair ball, and Olerud sucks it up.
Abbott, who was bothered by a groin strain, final month of the season, had to break off the mound there and go toward first base, was slow getting back to the mound as he misses low with ball 1.
You could see Abbott shake, 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 shake. Usually when a pitcher shakes that much, he's going to throw a fastball. And sure enough, that fastball missed away.
A 1-2 pitch, 2-2. Combination of Abbott and Lampkin will try to figure out how to get Bernie Williams for the 2nd out of the inning. That's sliced foul. .26 home runs during the regular season for Bernie Williams. It was 0-2, now it's 3-2.
You can see Lampkin using that pinky for a fastball inside to Bernie Williams. You not only call the pitch a fastball, but you tell the pitcher where to locate it. Another one inside.
14 career postseason home runs for Williams as he takes ball 4. So there's one that got away from Paul Abbott as the pitch gets away from Lampkin. An 0-2 count, and Williams draws a walk. This fall, Fox presents Kiefer Sutherland in 24. Believe what you've heard. TV Guide says Fox's 24 is 24-karat entertainment. The New York Times calls it an edge-of-the-seat thriller. Series premiere of 24 coming Tuesday, November 6th to Fox. Number 24 digs in for the Yankees, Tino Martinez, with 1 on, 1 out, as Abbott just handed out his 5th walk, which for a guy like Clemens isn't a huge concern. For a guy like Abbott, rare is it that a pitcher with Abbott stuff can walk 5 guys in 3 1/3 innings and get away with it.
That's true.
So far, he has gotten away with them. Oh, 0-2 now on Tino Martinez.
The reason for that, Joe, is that when Roger Clemens reaches back, he reaches back for a 97, 98 mile an hour fastball. When Paul Abbott reaches back, it's for a 91 or 92 mile an hour fastball. And that 5 or 6 miles an hour difference is very, very important, as any hitter will tell you.
Even split between strikes and balls so far for Abbott. Bouncer in there to Lampkin. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
56-footer. It is 60 feet 6 inches from the pitching rubber to the home plate. And catchers don't like 56-footers. Watch this one bounce about 3 feet in front of home. Nicely done by Lampkin.
Martinez bounced out to first, his first time up. And a check on Williams. The running game really not a big part of Williams' approach this season, with only 11 steals. So far 0 for 1 in this postseason, at least coming in 0 for 2 as he was caught trying to steal back in the second. He stays put as Martinez strikes out. 2 out. Second strikeout for Abbott. The batter will be Posada.
Change up. Swung over by Tino Martinez. You're right about Bernie Williams. Bernie is a fast runner, but not a good base stealer. The reason for that, he does not get a good jump at first base. He can flag down fly balls in the outfield by just outrunning the ball, but it takes him a while. He's almost a victim of his long legs. Not a quick start.
Posada has started this LCS slowly at 1 for 9. He walked and then was thrown out. By the way, it was not a caught stealing on the play. It was a put out 2-6 to end the second inning. The switch hitting catcher, 22 home runs during the regular season. He has that 1 postseason home run this year against Oakland. 1 ball, 1 strike. Over but low, 2 balls and a strike.
That home run by Posada was in game 3. That was the play where Jeter made the play that all New Yorkers and half the baseball world has been talking about ever since. Jeter, the best man in Posada's wedding. So that's not the first time they teamed up to win.
Check on the runner, Bernie Williams at first, and you could hear him ask for time from the first base umpire, John Shulock. Jorge and his wife during this season, going through a rough time as parents. Their son Jorge going through cranial surgery, and he's been through that more than once.
3 times for Jorge's 21-month-old son, Jorge Jr. He is doing fine right now. We are happy to report.
3 balls and a strike. Posada with 4 career postseason home runs. That's ball 4. It's 2 on, 2 out. That'll bring in Paul O'Neill, who we believe tweaked that injury. Watch him start as he goes down towards second. One of the early steps and kind of dragging that foot, and as he got to the bag, a hop in some pain, and then you could see his reaction. It was a successful bunt, so he wasn't upset about the play. He was upset about the way that foot felt after going first to second. And now, as these Yankee fans and Joe Torre have asked for numerous times, they asked for a big hit from Paul O'Neill, who is likely to retire at the end of the season. Ball 1 high. 6 walks now from Paul Abbott. Still no hits allowed. Good pitch over the inside corner, 1-1.
It's a strike, but it's in O'Neill's power zone. That ball down and in. A very dangerous pitch in this ballpark. Caused the short right field porch.
Right now, Abbott will take any strike he can get.
Right.
A 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
O'Neill is an odd hitter in that up to 2 strikes he tries to pull the ball. With 2 strikes he's more inclined to go to left field.
Broken back from a guy with a broken foot, and the inning is over. So 2 more walks, 6 on the night. We go to the 5th. Still no hits for the Yankees. Only 1 on the evening. There's no score. Back after this from your local Fox station. Well, Seattle, what do you think of that picture? Well, New York, what do you think of that picture as Roger Clemens delivers a strike on the outside part of the plate to David Bell? In case you're wondering, Clemens is only at 77 pitches on the night, but Mendoza's getting loose out in the Yankee bullpen.
That would lead one to believe that the hamstring, the right hamstring of Clemens, is acting up.
So the 0-1 to Bell. Hard hit right at Procius, 1 away. With that loud out, we check in again with Jeannie Zalasko back in Los Angeles.
Joe, Mark Grace left after 4 with a tight right hamstring, and look what his replacement did. Uriel Durazo, a 2-run shot, advantage Arizona 3-1, just like the series. Now bottom 5 with 1 out and nobody on, Joe.
All right, Jeannie, so Randy Johnson now has a 2-run lead as Arizona tries to eliminate Atlanta and move on to the World Series, which will begin on Saturday here on Fox. We look again at the first out as Bell has one of the hardest hit shots of the night.
That was a rolling splitter, and that's I'm sure one of the reasons. Another one up in the strike zone. Remember in our opening we said that Roger Clemens when he has problems driving off that back leg, has a tendency to keep the ball up. He's had 2 hanging splitters in this inning.
The 0-2. And now Ichiro is in spoil mode.
Roger Clemens once again depends on driving off that back leg and the slope. Talked about it earlier.
Another 0-2 pitch. Another foul ball. Spoil mode means that Ichiro is up there spoiling pitches, waiting for Clemens to get a spot where Ichiro can drive the baseball. The count stays 0-2. Spoiled.
Talk about the slope too. Before the 1969 season, the mound used to be 15 inches high. Now it's 10 inches high, and that 5 inches is a big difference. It's a flatter mound from which to throw now.
Ichiro strikes out. Posada will finish the play. 2 out. Some pitchers had some pretty good seasons in 1968. I remember.
I'll say.
Here is our MasterCard fan cam. Oh, it's true though. McLemore takes ball 1. Tim. 2 out, bases empty, 1 ball, no strikes. Now 1-1 on McLemore.
Oh, that was a nice touch. That song written by Peter Allen while he was in a hole pattern over New York City. It's a theme from Arthur.
Here's a 1-1. 2 balls and a strike.
Gotta love this guy, I'll tell you.
On 2-1, McLemore takes ball 3. Red Boone waits to hit next. Well hit into right field, but back on the track, O'Neill, about 2 steps from the wall, pulls it in, and the inning is over. So even with Mendoza getting loose out of the Yankee bullpen, Clemens gets through the 5th time for the 5th inning for the first time this postseason. Still no score. Well, the top 2 pitchers with regard to run support in the American League this season, Paul Abbott and Roger Clemens. Abbott getting almost 7.8 runs per game. Clemens over 6.5 runs per game. Have been supported by 1 hit. Forget runs. 1 hit. It belongs to Olerud. And in the bottom of the 5th inning, it'll be Brocious, Soriano, and Knobloch for the Yankees. 0-0 as Abbott, with his 6 walks and 2 strikeouts, goes back to work. And that's strike 1. So it's 3-1 Arizona in the 5th inning in Atlanta. And here in game 4 of the American League Championship Series, with the Yankees up 2-1, there's no score. That's off the end of the bat. Another weird cue shot down the right side of this infield at Yankee Stadium. And right now, here's Jeannie Zelasco again at our Fox Network Center in Los Angeles.
Joe at Atlanta, Mark DeRosa in the pinch hit. That means Tom Glavine is out after 5. And speaking about, look at the work by Danny Batista. Gotcha. And that's where we sit. Bottom 5 with 2 on, a 2 out, 3-1 Arizona.
Jeannie talked about Bob Brenly having a hunch. You remember when we were in St. Louis during the division series and Bob Brenly gave a start to Danny Batista in that important game 3, which was a victory for Arizona. He said every time he's in the game, he comes up with a big hit or a big play, or he throws somebody out. And he has done a little bit of all that tonight in game 5 of the NLCS with 1 out. Here's Soriano.
In that game, Bob Brenly rested Reggie Sanders, and it was Reggie Sanders who had the home run against Matt Morris in game 5, as Mendoza warms in earnest now and will probably be the pitcher in the 6th inning. Otherwise, Joe Torre sits him down.
2 balls and a strike with 1 out, nobody on. 3-1. Talking about Batista, Miguel Batista, the pitcher, made the start in that game 3, which another big reason why they are a matter of outs away from going to the World Series. And it was Danny Batista who played in the outfield as Soriano's foul ball takes the mask off the face of Tom Lampkin, which draws an instant reaction of a tear rolling down the cheek of Tim McCarver here next to me.
Oh, a lot of people think those don't hurt, but those foul tips can take that mask and twist it and twist it and twist it. Does not bring back good memories. You're right.
Here comes a 3-ball, 2-strike pitch. Soriano hits it down the left field line, foul.
When you talk about Paul Abbott, you're talking about a pitcher who has 1 complete game in his career. 1. The lowest hit complete game. A 6-hitter this year.
Another walk. Number 7 on the night for Abbott. 1 on, 1 out here in the 5th inning. Go to MLB.com to bid on special autographed and game-used items currently up for auction to benefit the Disaster Relief Fund. MLB.com. You can find autographed and game-used items up for auction. Here's Knobloch.
The Yankees think they have the right guy on right here with Soriano. Look for Soriano to be running. 43 stolen bases. A rookie Yankee record for this year.
See a lot of young players come up with great speed, but very few who can translate the great speed into stealing bases in their rookie season. Learning how to read pitchers, getting good jumps. 43, good for 3rd in the American League this season. You combine that with 18 home runs and 73 runs batted in. We just gave you the top 2 rookies easily in the American League this season. Soriano with Ichiro watching him from out in right field. First pitch to Knobloch is pop foul. Knobloch 0 for 2. He has struck out. He has fouled out. And so far has been unable to lay off the high deliveries from Abbott.
99 stolen bases in your picture.
Ichiro with 56. Soriano with 43. One ball, 1 strike. Both Ichiro and Soriano have 3 stolen bases in the postseason. And this is a spot for Soriano to run.
Right-handed hitter like Knobloch, a base stealer himself, can see whether Soriano has a good jump or not. If he does, he takes the pitch.
Our last update from Atlanta, there were men on for the Braves. Randy Johnson on the mound, and tell you what happened shortly thereafter with another game break. Here comes another throw to first. Soriano reading this move easily to the point where Olerud has not even tried to apply a tag yet. So he's having no trouble reading Abbott. Understand Johnson got out of that inning to keep the lead, and we'll show it to you when we get the opportunity. 1 on, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike, and Knobloch hits it foul.
That is a very good job by Abbott, throwing to first, throwing to first, throwing to first, and then quick pitching home. What a pitcher has to do in a situation like that is make sure he stops to vary the moves. Come set. Actually, it was not as quick a pitch as I thought initially.
It's quick enough.
Quick enough.
Just high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Abbott has gotten that pitch a couple of times in this game. From the home plate umpire, Charlie Relaford didn't get it there, and the count's 2-2. A 1-out walk to Soriano. He has not taken off yet. Back to the bag easily as Abbott gives him another look.
Mariners are unsure whether Soriano will run here, but 3-2. Bet on it. With the count 3-2, and Soriano doesn't have to get a good jump. It's up to the hitter to put the ball in play, preferably on the ground. That's not the situation right now. It's 2-2. If this next pitch is a ball, he'll be going.
Running here on 2-2 and a foul ball.
Watch the right foot of Soriano. He pivots on it. A lot of base runners, and you were talking about that technique, picking it up in a lot of base runners will pick that right foot up and put it back down. Again, that takes time. The good base runners pivot on that right foot. And Soriano is an excellent base runner.
Running again. Pitch low. The throw not in time. Boone arguing with a second base umpire, Tim Welke, as Welke called Soriano safe. Great effort by Boone as he got a quick tag down, but the safe call was given.
Outstanding play by Bob Boone. A short hop. Lampkin's throw is a short hop, but watch the tag. Quickly done, and it appeared that Soriano's hand was in there. Very, very close. Talking about nanoseconds, the difference between safe and out. Boone wanted the call, didn't get it. I think he missed the left arm.
Yeah, I think he did too. A hit could give the Yankees the lead as Knobloch draws walk number 8. They'll get busy now in the Seattle bullpen. Right now, here's Jeannie Zelasco at our Fox Network Center in Los Angeles.
Joe, the pictures to back your words. Bases loaded in Atlanta, 2 out. Look who's up. Julio Franco had a home run on the night, but not this time. Randy Johnson escapes the jam. 5 strikeouts through 5. 3-1 top 6. Steve Carsey on the mound with 2 outs.
Now it's Derek Jeter with 2 on, 1 out. And there is action for the Mariners out in their bullpen here in the 5th inning, even though Abbott has yet to allow a hit, and a visit from the pitching coach now, Brian Price.
I don't think Brian is going out there to talk necessarily to Abbott, but McLemore and Boone are both coming on because an interesting situation is developing for the Mariners. You can see Boone and McLemore. Boone has to protect against Jeter, and he's looking toward the dugout right now. He's asking Piniella, who do you want to protect against Soriano? Because Jeter is like a left-handed pull hitter.
Boone saying you just flip a coin.
Yeah. But Jeter, at the right side, it depends on how Abbott is going to pitch Jeter. And the best way to pitch him is inside. But if Jeter grounds a ball to the right side, well, naturally, you want Brett Boone there and in the position. But with Soriano such a base-stealing threat at second base, somebody's got to hold him on.
We saw Dave Myers, who's also the third base coach, answering the question from Boone. With runners on at first and second, one out.
Joe, you can even see McLemore. They're pinching the middle infielders. Boone and McLemore will share the duties.
Right now it's Boone as Jeter takes ball one low. So even with Jeter at the plate, a guy who likes to go to the right side, they open up the right side of the infield with Boone keeping Soriano close at second. Meanwhile, Abbott falls behind 2-0. Charlton getting ready in a hurry with the left-handed hitting David Justice on deck. This may be Abbott's last hitter if he doesn't get Jeter. 2 walks in the inning. Jeter, strike one.
Abbott just challenging Jeter. Jeter swings under it.
No score in the bottom of the 5th inning. This is game 4 with the Yankees up 2-1. Jeter out in front of that pitch, and now the count even 2-2.
A good changeup from Abbott in a tough situation. That ball diving out of the strike zone.
The 8 walks for Abbott, the most in LCS play since 1993, when Juan Guzman of Toronto walked 8. And it's put him in a 2-on, 1-out jam facing Jeter. 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Right field for Ichiro. The runners will hold 2-on, 2-out. So Abbott fell behind Jeter 2-0, came back to get him. And now the decision for the Mariners with Abbott on the mound dealing with Justice coming up. As you look at the swing by Jeter, he lifts it into right field.
Charlton appears to be ready in the Seattle bullpen. Still no hits for the Yankees. The interesting thing now, the responsibility of holding Soriano on goes to Mark McLemore and not to Brett Boone. Boone is playing Justice in short right field, 2 or 3 steps off, so it's an easier play for McLemore right now.
And it's Justice in the batter's box with 2-on, 2-out. Charlton still out in the bullpen. Abbott still on the mound, and strike one to David Justice. So Abbott struggling to throw strikes. 8 walks. Getting into the heart of the Yankee lineup. He gets Jeter on a pop fly to right for the 2nd out. Now the 0-1 to Justice. 1 ball, 1 strike. David Justice playing in his 101st postseason game. He has 57 RBIs in the previous 100. In for a strike, and it's 2-2.
That's what throwing all those change-ups will do to a hitter. A good fastball hitter ends up taking his pitch, looking for the changeup.
Soriano at second, Knobloch on at first. Good speed aboard for the Yankees. 2 out. No score in the 5th, and Abbott walks behind the mound. The switch hitting Bernie Williams will be next, either here in the 5th inning or leading off the 6th. And now Lampkin pops up. And it looked like he said, hey, wait a minute, I haven't given you any signs yet.
Yeah. You can see Abbott complaining to Lampkin. Very verbal.
Lampkin popped up with his palms up to the sky like,
yeah,
what are you going to throw? 2 balls, 2 strikes. No signs given as Justice grounds to second. So Lampkin never did put down any signs. Still no hits for the Yankees. A big opportunity missed. We go to the 6th inning. Still no score. No score.
Here's what Joe was talking about with Paul Abbott and Tom Lampkin. The count was 2-2 to Justice. Lampkin had not given a sign, and Abbott was into a stretch. Lampkin goes out to talk to Abbott, and watch Abbott's reaction. Barking at him. Now he goes back, and on the 2-2 pitch, didn't give a sign to David Justice. Here it comes, and Justice grounds out to second base.
So now it's Mendoza. And it's Brett Boone leading it off. 1 pitch for a strike, and the numbers for Mendoza in this postseason, say those are pretty good, Tim.
And he's such a different pitcher from Roger Clemens. Everything Mendoza throws goes down. Clemens stayed on the same plane.
So Clemens goes through 5 innings for the first time this postseason. Struck out 7. He walked 4. And allowed no runs on 1 hit. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Boone.
Every fastball that Clemens threw stayed on the same plane. Obviously not the spitter or the splitter.
Down the left field line, foul. The third base umpire, who was about 25 feet away from the left field umpire, Eddie Montague, called that ball foul.
Ooh. Very close.
No score in the 6th inning, and Boone reaches out and grounds to Jeter. 1-1.
After fouling that ball down the third base line, there was no way Mendoza was going to come back inside to Brett Boone. That fastball away, very effective.
Now it's Edgar Martinez, who fouled out with 2 on 2 out his last time up to end the top of the 3rd inning. 3 out of 14 now in the ALCS with no RBIs. One. To the left side, Brocious to his left, covered a lot of ground. 2 out. 2 out, nobody on. Olrud will be the hitter. It's the new show everyone's been talking about, the best damn sports show, period. It's the new nightly show that features a comedian who's a diehard sports fan and a bunch of ex-jocks who really know the game. with sports commentary, and constantly updated scores and highlights. What more could you want from a show? Introducing the best damn sports show, period. Weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30 p.m. only on Fox Sports Net. Here's Olerud, takes a strike. John Olerud, 1 out of 2. He's bounced into a force out, and he has the distinction coming up with the only hit so far in this game. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Mendoza, a different style, trying to pick up where Clemens left off. Ball's behind Olerud, 2-1. The reaction you hear, by the way, Tim, is for Mayor Giuliani going back to his seats.
Yep.
Olerud went, and the count 2-2.
Gonna say, if you're John Olerud, you cheat outside. You look for the ball outside. This one, however, was low, and John went too far.
Two-two pitch. Olerud strikes out. New pitcher, same result. A scoreless inning. Bottom of the 6th inning. Norm Charlton is making his way in from the Seattle bullpen. Still no score. We came on the air tonight talking about the importance of middle relief. The Mariners love their bullpen at the end with Sasaki. The Yankees obviously love their chances with Rivera. We will see plenty of middle relief here in Game 4. Each starter finished after 5 innings. And it's Norm Charlton, first out of the bullpen for Seattle, facing Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and Jorge Posada.
And to reiterate what we said in the opening was that Seattle has a deeper bullpen.
Williams has drawn 2 walks tonight. Turns around and bats right-handed now against the lefty. Charlton is Jeff Nelson, who has 4 Yankee World Series rings. Gets loose for Seattle.
Lou Piniella much more flexible than Joe Torre. For instance, when Mendoza was in the game in the top of the 6th inning, no one was warming for the Yankees. But because Piniella's bullpen is so deep, he has Nelson up with Charlton on the mound.
Here's a 1-0 to Williams. 1 ball, 1 strike. Because they have Charlton, they have Paniagua, they have Nelson, Arthur Rhodes, Sasaki. They can match up now for the rest of the game.
That's right. They can go inning to inning, whereas Joe Torre, for the most part, has to stick with Mendoza, Stanton, and Rivera.
The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Charlton was part of Lou Piniella's bullpen, the Nasty Boys, back in 1990. The world champion Reds. Rob Dibble, Randy Myers, the other 2. That's into left center field. Pretty well hit. Cameron, 1 out. So that got the biggest rise out of the crowd tonight. But Cameron ran it down.
One of the better defensive center fielders in the game, playing Bernie Williams into right center. An excellent jump and an easy catch.
Paul Abbott, by the way, just to give you his numbers, nothing to it for Charlton. 5 innings, no runs, no hits, 8 walks, 2 strikeouts. In case you're wondering how rare it would be for a pitcher to be lifted, and they allowed no hits through 5 innings as Tino Martinez fouls one back and out of play. Consider that A.J. Burnett of the Florida Marlins walked 9 in his no-hitter earlier this season against San Diego. The first of 2 times the Padres were no-hit later in the year by Bud Smith of St. Louis. Lou Piniella actually likes the versatility of this bullpen, the 2001 Mariners bullpen, as opposed to the nasty boys of the Cincinnati Reds, because after that top three, he did not have arms he could rely on. You look at the comparisons. The postseason ERA, the biggest disparity, but remember that number is inflated for the Seattle bullpen because of that 17-2 loss in Game 3 of the division series in Cleveland. But the rest of the numbers really about the same.
Talking to Joe Torre before the game about last night, a blowout being a blessing in disguise. If the Yankees lose 4-3 in a 12-inning game, he's forced to use Mendoza. Tonight he's fresh.
Martinez hits it down the left field line. Javier on the run won't get there. One hop ground rule double. And the first hit of the night for the Yankees is a double by Tino Martinez.
Fastball away, and he goes the other way. Down the left field line. The ball tailing away from Javier. Stan's not going to be able to get to it. And a ground rule double in a park that probably leads the world in ground rule doubles.
Especially down the line, where there's just no room. Now with Posada coming up, the Mariners are going to walk Jorge Posada, the switch hitting catcher, and throw it into the lap of Paul O'Neill. O'Neill is going back down into the dugout. The question for the Yankees is, do you like the matchup of O'Neill against Charlton or Spencer against Nelson?
It's going to be the latter. Spencer donning the cap, and he will be the hitter, perhaps against Jeff Nelson.
Lou can't wait to hop out of that dugout.
That's right. Once he's announced, that's enough. There is no way Charlton faces Spencer.
So here's the advantage for Seattle. He can match up within the innings as opposed to going inning to inning. This matchup plays into the favor of the Mariners with Spencer coming off the bench and Nelson coming out of the bullpen for Seattle. Charlton is finished. The Yankees have their first hit. Now they try to provide the first runs of the night. AT&T call to the bullpen. It'll be Jeff Nelson. These two have had words through the media, both prior to Nelson leaving and after Nelson left the Yankees. Joe Torre did not originally select Nelson to be an All-Star this year. After the All-Star game in August, Joe Torre acted as if he was going to toss Nelson his World Series ring. The two hugged. But if you remember, Nelson was originally left off the American League team until he replaced Mariano Rivera. And the two made up a bit. But Nelson had plenty to say about Joe Torre before, during, and after his departure. And now it's Nelson, who has not given up a run. And only 2 hits in 4 games so far this postseason, pitching with 2 on, 1 out. And Spencer coming up.
One of the sources of the dispute between Jeff and Joe was Joe wanted Nelson to throw more fastballs and not breaking balls. About the only criticism of Jeff Nelson that the Yankees had, he fell in love with his breaking ball too much, and it flattened out to right-handed hitters.
So Joe Torre, who used to hand Nelson the ball to set up Mariano Rivera, watches Nelson try to shut down this Yankee uprising in the 6th inning with 2 on, 1 out. And there's that frisbee slider for ball 1. O'Neill lifted for Shane Spencer. And Nelson replaced Norm Charlton. During that run with the Yankees, 307 games, an ERA of 3.41. Good moving pitch for strike 1. That thing broke twice.
A fastball, you could see that ball going down. Lampkin was sitting outside. In a ground ball situation, a guy like Nelson Lou Piniella would prefer the fastball because the fastball is the ball most apt to be hit on the ground.
The 1-1. Spencer laid off the slider, and it's 2-1.
The slider is the pitch that will be more apt to hit in the air. So Nelson in a ground ball situation, and yet he throws a slider to fall behind Spencer once again.
Fourth straight inning the Yankees have had. Runners in scoring position. It's Martinez and Posada on with 1 out, no score in the 6th. A fastball for strike 2.
A heavy moving fastball. So 2 sliders, 2 fastballs.
And a 2-2 count.
Jeff Nelson should know Tino Martinez is going nowhere. He's not a fast runner. 1 stolen base this year. Tino Martinez also knows that if he gets off a little bit, he can disrupt Nelson.
Another slider that misses, and the count's 3-2.
I think you send the runners right here. You stay out of the double play again. If he throws that sinker, more apt to hit it on the ground. This is a base running situation for the Yankees.
He also could run into an inning-ending double play.
That's
if
true.
Spencer does not put the ball in play.
That's true. Nelson, a contact pitcher, however.
Not running. And ball 4. Bases loaded, 1 out.
What is he walking with? The slider. The sequence again. Misses with the slider. The fastball a strike. Misses with the slider. The fastball a strike. Misses with the slider. Misses with the slider. So the very thing that used to upset the Yankees has gotten the Seattle Mariners in a hole.
Bases loaded, 1 out. And now it's Scott Brocious, whose days with the Yankees are likely grinding to an end. Free agent to be. So far 1 out of 10 in this series. And a strike hits the outside corner. Soriano, the rookie, on deck. The career for Brocious with the bases loaded. Brocious able to lay off. I think he had a chance. It looked like he tried to start his swing. Tried to start it late.
Nelson wanted that for a strike, but usually when a catcher has to move that far to catch a pitch, you don't get that pitch.
So now Lou Piniella yelling from the dugout, trying to get an appeal from Tom Lampkin to ask Charlie Relaford to ask for help from John Shulock. They never did appeal, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1 as Nelson falls behind. Back to Lou Piniella asking for the appeal.
Three fastballs to Brocious. If you're Scott Brocious, you have to sit on a fastball right now.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Scott Brocious, a former World Series most valuable player in 1998 with the Yankees, and New York asks him for the go-ahead base hit here in the 6th inning of Game 4.
Another fastball here, I would suspect.
Hard hit right to Boone. 4-6-3. And the Mariners out of trouble. Another missed chance for the Yankees, who still have only one hit. 7th inning now, still no score. Back after this from your local Fox station. Mendoza back to the hill, ball 1 to Stan Javier.
16 base runners, 2 hits, and no errors. Now, what does that tell you?
That tells you that there have been 14 walks handed out. 10 by Seattle, 4 by the Yankees. Javier takes a strike. It's 1-1. The Braves have closed the gap to 3-2. They're in the 7th inning of Game 5 of the NLCS, and we'll show it to you in a moment as Javier fouls it back 1-2. Javier tonight 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, now facing Mendoza after Clemens went the first 5 innings. To Jeter, not hard hit, and 1 away. 4 in a row retired by Mendoza right now. Jeannie Zelasco back in Los Angeles.
Joe, a must-win situation for the Braves, and it's Julio Franco to the rescue. Already a home run tonight. Look at this, bottom 7 with 2 on. He singles to center, 1-run scores. Now 3-2 with 2 out and 2 on in Atlanta. The Braves threaten. Joe?
We've seen Franco hit the ball hard 3 times tonight.
Right.
We saw him hit the ball hard 3 times in Game 1 against Randy Johnson. Here's Mike Cameron. He takes a strike and a breaking ball from Mendoza. Cameron 0 for 1 with a walk. Oh, 2.
We mentioned it the other night. Mendoza becomes impatient. He wants to finish off hitters too often with the count 0-2 instead of wasting one.
He finished him off. 2 out. Second strikeout for Mendoza. And it looked like Cameron was looking for a waste pitch on 0-2.
Yeah, he did. He threads a needle on the outside corner.
So now with 2 out, nobody on, Tom Lampkin walks to the plate, the number 8 hitter, who is 1 for 4 in this series, 0 for 2 tonight. With 2 out, Lampkin takes ball 1. Number 9 hitter David Bell on deck. 0-0, top of the 7th inning. 2-0.
No time to come inside to Lampkin. Lampkin with 5 home runs on the year. Remember, only .314 down the line. Sinker baller like Mendoza will keep the ball away right here.
Like that. Down and away. 3-0 as Arthur Rhodes gets ready for Seattle in their bullpen. Here's the 3-0 to Lampkin. Back over the inside corner, 3-1.
Lampkin is looking for a pitch on the inside part of the plate.
Mendoza missing up and away, and that is walk number 15 handed out tonight. And now with 1 on, 2 out, here's David Bell.
David Bell.
Saw Joe Torre telling Tino Martinez to hold the runner on. That's in case a short double is hit. Lampkin does not get a good jump off of first base.
Lampkin runs pretty well for a
catcher. Good feed.
Ichiro on deck, but it's up to David Bell to keep this top of the 7th inning going. Now it's 2-0.
Tino Martinez out to talk to Ramiro Mendoza. Mike Stanton is not warming up. He's the left-hander for the Yankees. So if Ichiro hits with runners on at first and second, Mendoza will be feeding into his strong zone, low ball hitter.
And remember that Stanton was warming up in the 5th inning yesterday, eventually worked in the 6th inning. Pitched only a third of an inning as Bell grounds the 2-0 pitch foul. And still Stanton not getting loose in the Yankee bullpen. So the Mariners can't think of a better matchup than Ichiro against Mendoza, but it's up to David Bell to present that situation to the certain Rookie of the Year in the American League. A 2-1. Now it's 2-2. Mendoza to end the inning, and Ichiro is left in the on-deck circle. Tonight's game is being seen live around the world by U.S. servicemen and women through the facilities of the American Forces Radio and Television Service. As Jeff Nelson will go back to work, Alfonso Soriano first up for the Yankees, no score. Soriano has walked twice. Almost looked like Lampkin was crossed up. 0-1 the count. Knobloch and Jeter will follow. I think Nelson's smiling about that. Lampkin almost took that strike right off the chest. Here's an 0-1. Off the end of the bat, foul, 0-2.
Normally you do not see a cross-up with nobody on base. A catcher and a pitcher will change the sequence of their signs with the runner on, for obvious reasons. But you're right, that ball happened upon Tom very quickly. That's that first pitch. Whoa, whoa. You see the glove darting from one side to the other. You know that Jeff crossed Tom up.
Here's an 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Lou Piniella hoping the last half inning to get Ichiro to the plate with a 2-on, 2-out situation, asking for David Bell to make something happen. But Ichiro was left standing in the on-deck circle. Now he's standing out in right field, and he will lead off in the 8th inning. Joe Torre had Mendoza on the mound, did not have Stanton getting loose in the bullpen. That was a big out as Bell lined out, and now Soriano lines one foul over the Yankee dugout.
In an op-ed piece in the New York Times yesterday, Nicholas Dawidoff said that baseball in New York right now is an ideal and compelling distraction. Can't think of a better way to put this ball game. What a game.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Soriano. Breaking ball fouled away.
Of all the renditions of God Bless America, that was the best.
Oh. Nelson back on top, ready for a 1-2 pitch. One away. Joe Torre telling us before the game that if the Yankees can avoid facing Ichiro in a spot where he can beat him, they will obviously be better off.
I'm very pleased the way we've been able to pitch to him. Really hasn't been up in a critical spot where he's had a chance to beat us so far. So I think that's been a big plus for us, not to be put in that position. So the only way you can do that is with is with your starting pitching.
So Ichiro, instead of batting with a chance to put the Mariners on top, a guy who during the regular season hit .445 with runners in scoring position. He'll lead off in the top of the 8th inning as ball 1 misses to Chuck Knobloch. We are continually moved here at Yankee Stadium. As you look at Arthur Rhodes continuing to loosen for the Mariners, whether it's with the national anthem or God Bless America. National anthem tonight by the Boys Choir of Harlem. After they were finished, they all put on Yankee hats, which drew a big reaction from this crowd. And then Ronan Tynan, the Irish tenor, with God Bless America. Challenger, the bald eagle, flying in from center field prior to each game. The reaction that Mayor Giuliani gets every time he walks down to his seats. It has been chilling and very special being here in New York for these games as Knobloch takes strike 2, 1 and 2. When we last left you down in Atlanta showing the highlights, Randy Johnson was on the mound trying to get through the 7th. We'll tell you what's going on there in game 5 in just a moment. Nelson hopes that update comes right now. Instead, Knobloch fouls it away into the upper deck. After Knobloch, it's Jeter. Jeter has left 4 runners sitting out there on the bases as he has gone 0 for 3 tonight. And it is only 2 out of 13 in this ALCS, with, by the way, no RBIs. The 1-2, Knobloch just spoiled it. Everything was moving left. The pitch was moving to his right, and somehow Knobloch had enough reach to flip it foul.
The main thing that was moving away from the plate was his rear end. That was a real defensive swing right here. Check this out. That's what Nelson can do to right-handers.
Nelson coming in last inning with 2 on 1 out, walking Shane Spencer, getting Brocious to hit into a double play. Another one off the mask of Tom Lampkin. Oh.
That happens enough, you become a broadcaster.
Yeah. Tom has aspirations along those lines, by the way. And will be a good one when he decides to take on that endeavor. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Knobloch. 1 out. And that will get out of play.
That was a hanger right there to Chuck Knobloch, but because Nelson is so intimidating, he's 6'8". Knobloch is 5'9". Because he makes such nasty pitches like that, when you do get a hanger, it's tough to take advantage of it.
Nelson searching for the 2nd out here in the bottom of the 7th with no score. That's set up in the strike zone, and Knobloch rounds to 3rd, 2 out. Right now, Jeannie Zalasko at our Fox Network Center in Los Angeles.
Joe, stop me if you've heard this before. Randy Johnson again with the bases loaded. Brian Jordan can't do a thing about it. Atlanta has left 29 runners on base in this series. 8 tonight. Still 3-2 Arizona as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Young Kim in for Randy Johnson.
So Johnson out of the game, bottom of the 8th inning, and Kim, the closer, is pitching. Talk about opposites. Randy Johnson, the 6'10" left-hander. Young Kim, the shorter right-hander who throws submarine style, and Johnson throwing in the upper 90s, and Kim really doesn't throw that hard. Has good action on his pitches. In fact, has one that he calls an upshoot, which is a throwback to a different era. As Jeter takes ball 1 with 2 out, nobody on.
And like Knobloch and Nelson, about a foot in difference in their sizes between Johnson and Kim.
Here's a 1-0. Jeter showing bunt, bailing out of the way of strike one.
Well, that's an odd take by Jeter. You don't want to spot Jeff Nelson anything. Jeter taking all the way.
On the outside corner, 1-2.
This will be the last hitter that Jeff Nelson faces with David Justice on deck. Arthur Rhodes, the left-hander, is ready for Lou Piniella.
Jeter wearing that wrap on his left arm, covering his left elbow. Was not wearing that in yesterday's game. As he waits for a 1-2 pitch, 2-2.
Look at the outfield. I'm a little surprised that the Mariners aren't playing Jeter around toward right field, playing straight up. He hits a lot of balls to right field with 2 strikes on it.
Especially with the action of Jeff Nelson.
Right.
Continually pounding that outside corner, and now the count's 3-2 with Rhodes getting ready for a battle with Justice. Rhodes lost a battle with Justice last year in Game 6 of the ALCS here at Yankee Stadium. 3-2 to Jeter. And a foul tip to keep the 7th inning going. And Jeter with that little smile after that check swing foul.
This pitch would have been a ball. Perhaps. Nope. Stayed on the strike zone. Backup slider. You could see Lampkin setting away. The pitch was on the inside part of the plate.
Two out, bases clear. Another 3-2 pitch. Nelson gets through an inning and 2/3. Top of the order for Seattle in the 8th. Ichiro, McLemore, Boone coming up still. No score. Well, it is 11 o'clock in the East. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Michael Weissman, Bill Webb. And there's no score in the 8th inning as Ichiro leads it off. We've had a total of 2 hits, base runners galore, with a total of 15 walks. Ichiro so far 0 for 2 with a walk, a stolen base, and the count 1 ball 1 strike as Mendoza has turned in good work in 2 innings.
You can see all the infielders have shortened up. They're in 2 steps more than they would normally play. Joe, if you're Lou Piniella, you have to love this matchup because Ichiro will probably hit the ball on the ground. Sinker ball pitcher has to keep it down.
To the left side, and it's Jeter who has to hurry, and he gets Ichiro 1 out.
Lou's probably thinking, darn, he hit it right at somebody. And that somebody is Derek Jeter. He can fly out of that box.
McLemore shows bunt, takes a strike. Top of the 9th inning, 3-2 Arizona. Don Mattingly, one of the most beloved players to play here in the last 20 years, used to say that despite how the flags may be blowing, you look at that small bat on top of the flagpole in left center field, and it's where the handle of the bat is pointing. That's the direction of the wind. If that's the case, if you believe Don Mattingly, and why wouldn't you, the wind is blowing in from left, even though the flags are blowing out. The count 1-2 on McLemore.
That's often the case in most enclosed stadiums where outfielders are really tricked, are in horseshoe-shaped stadiums like Shea Stadium, a center field that Willie Mays told me was the toughest center field in the major leagues. And here's a guy who played in Candlestick Park.
1 ball 2 strikes. Now 2-2. Those were before his late days in the major leagues.
Right. Willie Howard Mays. Boy, could he play.
One out, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes on McLemore with Brett Boone on deck. Check swing foul. So here's Mendoza picking up for Clemens after 5 innings. He's allowed 1 base runner, a 2-out walk to Lampkin. Last inning. Rivera waiting out of that Yankee bullpen. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on. Soriano, 2 out. Let's give you our game summary brought to you by Nissan. Top of the 8th inning, no score. It was Paul Abbott, 5 no-hit innings with 8 walks. Roger Clemens went 5. We have to assume that the hamstring acted up on him again. No runs on 1 hit. 17 total base runners with only 2 hits because of the 15 walks. Boone with strike 1. Brett, the home run yesterday, his first in the postseason after clubbing 37 during the regular year. The pitch count, by the way, for Clemens was in the 70s, so that wasn't a consideration as Boone pops it into left. Now blocked back at the wall. A leap and it's gone. Brett Boone hits a home run. He homered yesterday. He homers here in the 8th inning of Game 4. We just talked about the wind blowing in from left. Boone got under one, and it still got out to put Seattle on top 1-0 here in Game 4.
We also talked about left-handed batters. You don't throw them inside late in the game. If you make a mistake, it better be away. This mistake was made inside, and Boone takes advantage of it. An inside belt-high fastball belted out of the ballpark.
Now it's Edgar Martinez with Seattle on top 1-0 here in the 8th inning. 2 out, nobody on. 3rd career postseason home run for Brett Boone. None bigger than that one as he puts Seattle out in front here in the 8th inning. First run of the night. Here comes an 0-2. Martinez strikes out after the home run by Boone. Frustrated in the postseason until yesterday. Tonight, 8th inning, 2 out, nobody on. Onto the screen over the left field fence. 1-0 Seattle. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Bottom of the 8th inning. Now 1-0 Seattle on top. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver with you. Brett Boone fought one through that wind out in left field. Put Seattle on top, and what are they, 6 defensive outs from backing up Lou Pinella's words of getting this series back to Seattle.
That's exactly right. Regardless of what happens tomorrow night, it looked to me like Boone went up there looking for a fastball on the inside part of the plate. He took the curveball and then whacked the high fastball. It was supposed to be a sinker, but it didn't sink. Middle of the plate, in. Look at the head right down on it. He did it 37 times in the regular season, and a big one here tonight.
Now it's David Justice who loses the bat on the first pitch of the bottom of the 8th from the new pitcher Arthur Rhodes. And that bullpen has come front and center for Seattle. Lou Piniella able to match up from hitter to hitter. And with the left-handed heavy middle of the lineup, it's Arthur Rhodes who has been just about perfect in the postseason so far. So the versatility and the depth of that bullpen is being shown here as Sasaki, the closer for Seattle, starts to loosen.
Strength in numbers for Lou Piniella.
David Justice, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez. 0-2 the count from Arthur Rhodes. Mariano Rivera now getting loose for the Yankees out in their bullpen. 2-1 series advantage for the Yankees, but a 1-0 8th inning Game 4 advantage for Seattle after the 2-out home run by Brett Boone. Here's an 0-2. That caught the outside corner. Justice is gone, one away. Tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox. It's Game 5 of the ALCS. Mariners and Aaron Seeley against the Yankees and Andy Pettitte. The road to the World Series continues tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. And there's the matchup. 6 starts in his career in the postseason for Aaron Seeley. 0-5 with an ERA of over 4.7. Meanwhile, Pettitte 9-5 with an ERA of 3.96. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and that's ball 1 to Bernie Williams. We understand there is 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning in Atlanta. Still 3-2 Arizona. And if the Diamondbacks get to within 1 out of winning that series and advancing to the World Series, we will show you live footage of both this game in New York and that game in Atlanta. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on, and Bernie Williams takes ball 2. That home run by Boone almost happened in slow motion. Knobloch went back to the wall, waiting to time his leap, and never did get off the ground as that ball got over the wall by 5-10 feet. Now a 2-1 pitch is down and in. 3 balls and a strike on Bernie Williams with Tino Martinez on deck.
Bernie Williams will look inside. For the most part, Yankee hitters will look for the same speed off Arthur Rhodes. He's shaking there just to give Williams something to think about.
3-2 was Heat. Now the count is full. Abbott, Charlton, Nelson, Rhodes.
The pitcher on either side challenges hitters as much as Arthur Rhodes.
3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Fastball and a fly ball slicing down the right field line. It is foul. We understand Keith Lockhart just walked with 1 out in the 9th inning in Atlanta. 3-2 Arizona. And Marcus Giles is the hitter. 1 on, 1 out for the Diamondbacks. 2 outs away from getting to the World Series, which will start on Saturday in Arizona. Mariners trying to even this series at 2 games apiece. 1 out, nobody on. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Williams pops it into right. Back is Ichiro at the wall. This game is tied.
Challenge Arthur Rhodes did. And Bernie Williams. Ichiro like Knobloch. Neither that tall.
The crowd gets a curtain call, so Martinez steps out. #15th in the postseason career for Bernie Williams. And now Lou Piniella is out to talk to Rhodes and Lampkin.
Joe, we talked about earlier in the game and earlier in yesterday's game, we talked about
the short dimensions in right field. 314 down the line, and Bernie Williams takes advantage of it.
Martinez, that's ball one in the dirt. So Arthur Rhodes gives up his second big home run in this stadium in ALCS play for the second year in a row. He gave up the blast by David Justice in last year's Game 6, the deciding game. And now he gives up a one-out opposite field poke by Bernie Williams to tie this game at 1. Tino Martinez lines to Olerud, 2 out. Right now, with a final from Atlanta, we go to Jeannie Zalasko in Los Angeles.
And Joe, life taking full circle here. Julio Franco with a chance to win the game. Hot bat on the night, but this time Steve Finley is all over it. Final out in Atlanta. The Arizona Diamondbacks are moving on to the World Series. Congratulations to Bob Brenly as the Diamondbacks become the fastest expansive franchise to reach the series.
Who will they meet? 1-1 the score. Posada takes ball 1. 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th.
Whoever Arizona meets will be meeting the fearsome tandem of Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling. Not in that order. Prospects of those two pitchers starting 5 of the 7 games if it goes that far.
A 1-1 to Posada. Posada went after that pitch in the count 1-2.
We talked about Arthur Rhodes and how he challenges hitters. He challenged Bernie Williams, but he threw the slider to Posada.
The Mariners in the 9th inning will have Olerud, Javier, and Cameron. Left side, diving stop. Bell gets up, completes the play to send this game to the 9th inning. Solo home runs in the 8th. Brett Boone to put Seattle on top. Bernie Williams off Arthur Rhodes to tie it. 9th inning now, game 4. Tied at 1. Bernie Williams, his solo home run in the bottom of the 8th inning tied it. And now who do the Yankees turn to try to keep it tied? Mariano Rivera. His numbers this postseason, his numbers in his career in the postseason are staggering.
Lowest postseason earned run average of all time, .66.
And while people look at offensive numbers and home runs and RBIs and games played and say, well, these players these days have more opportunities to get hits, to hit home runs, there have obviously been more opportunities for Mariano Rivera to fail, to struggle, and he just doesn't do it with an all-time postseason ERA of 0.76. Olerud on the first pitch, grounds to Martinez, 1 out. He has 22 consecutive postseason saves, 23 overall, and you have to go back to that 97 division series game in Cleveland and the Alomar home run into right field to really find the last time that Rivera failed.
As Buster Olney of the New York Times printed 2 days ago, 1,466 days ago was when Alomar homered to right. Now with
1 out, nobody on, here's Javier. A Bunt attempt. Soriano flips. 2 out.
If Rivera continues to economize, he's gotten 2 outs on 2 pitches. Joe Torre, if necessary, may think about using him a 3rd inning tonight if it goes that far. Fine play by Soriano. Bunt just a little bit too hard, but Soriano's speed comes in handy on defense now.
Good effort by Javier, but he's the 2nd out. And now it's Mike Cameron, who hit 25 home runs during the regular season. 2 out, nobody on. A 3-pitch inning. Right side for Martinez. A fair ball, and that's as quick and as easy as it can get. Bottom of the 9th inning. Spencer, Brocious, Soriano coming up, tied 1-1. Sasaki, a 6-time All-Star, 229 career saves in Japan. Pitched 10 seasons, 1990 to 1999 for Yokohama in Japan's Central League, and he has been phenomenal since joining the Seattle Mariners, last year's Rookie of the Year. 82 saves in his 2 years with the Mariners, including a club record 45 this year.
So the Seattle Mariners will claim 2 consecutive Rookies of the Year. Sasaki last year, Suzuki this year.
Shane Spencer will be first up for New York with Brocious and Soriano to follow. Yankees needing 1 run to take a 3-games-to-1 advantage as we play Game 4 here at Yankee Stadium. The Mariners with a short-lived 1-run lead, 1-0 after the top of the 8th, tied on the Birdie Williams home run with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Here is Shane Spencer. 1 plate appearance, he drew a walk back in the 6th inning. Now facing Sasaki and taking ball 1.
One splitter after another from Sasaki can Yankee hitters expect.
To the left side for Bell. 1 away. Now Brocious will be the hitter. How about the 3-pitch top of the 9th inning?
Well, that just opened things up. If this game does go to the 11th, don't be surprised to see Mariano Rivera still in there.
So you're already giving him the 10th.
Oh yeah, got to do that. He will definitely pitch the 10th. And depending on how the 10th goes, we'll be out there for the 11th unless somebody scores first.
Here's Brocious now with 1 out, nobody on. Diving stop, McLemore gets up, throws wide, and the potential winning run is on for the Yankees. What an effort by McLemore as he flagged it down, hurried his throw, and it's a 1-out infield hit for Brocious.
Olrud doing the smart thing, coming off the bag. What a play by McLemore. The dive, the pivot, and the throw is wide. Watch Olrud coming off the bag to save the throwing error.
McLemore can play really anywhere defensively, and he just showed a ton of range and athletic ability getting to that ball. Then as he popped up, lost his balance a little bit, and as he fell to his left, pulled Olrud off the bag, and now the potential winning run is on at first with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th for the Yankees. We'd like to welcome those of you watching Atlanta and Arizona. Congratulations to the Arizona Diamondbacks as they will advance to the World Series to begin here on Fox on Saturday night. What's left to be determined is who their opponent will be. The Yankees lead 2-1. It's game 4 of the ALCS. A 1-1 tie in the bottom of the 9th inning. 1 run, 2 hits for Seattle. 1 run, 3 hits for the Yankees. Alfonso Soriano up with a runner at first, 1 out. Soriano hits it into deep right center field. Back at the wall. Yankees win. That reaction by Brett Boone probably represents the reaction across the country. A smile, a shake of the head, and then probably muttering, they've done it again. With Rivera on the mound in the top of the 9th, he gets the victory as they have a new player in this incredible postseason run. It's the rookie Alfonso Soriano, and he shoots it out to right center.
The Yankees have done it again, but for Soriano, it's the first time.
Cameron doing all he could